All right, everyone, we're back with another update to the patch notes. And I know I said I was going to go over some of the new hearts and such, which I will be later today. But there was a little bit of a controversy because there was this hidden nerf about the level requirements for capstone dungeons. Now, normally I would just wait and see if Blizzard just made a small bug or if it was a few people, but Icy Veins came out and made an article about it. There have been posts on Reddit with lots of people corroborating this, as well as Discord and forum posts. So what's going on? Because this is a big piece of drama within the community right now. And if it's not a bug, then this is going to be huge for the actual future of leveling up a new character. Now, in World Tier 3 and World Tier 4, you have a certain recommended level. You can see here in the Icy Veins article, which I'll leave a link to all this down below. In World Tier 3, when you hop into World Tier 3, they recommend level 50 to level 70. And when you hop into World Tier 4, they recommend level 70 to level 100. But everyone knows you can go earlier if you've even attempted World Tier 3 or 4. However, with a lot of the changes associated with like only forcing, certain level enemies above you and such things and all this different stuff, and I think an interest to kind of remove boosting, they have made it so that players cannot actually complete the dungeon unless they're their respective minimum recommended level. So this is a pretty massive deal. Now, characters created before the patch have not been affected because I did go ahead and try to enter World Tier 3 and World Tier 4. However, I had already unlocked it on this character beforehand. I did create a new character and I was prevented from entering it. However, I was in a group, right? Because I didn't have the time to level up a new character all the way to like 30 or 40 to try. Probably gonna have to be 40 to 50 now because of the nerfs to all the stats and buffs and such. And this is gonna be a big deal. And people all over the place are basically saying the same exact thing, which is that you cannot enter World Tier 3 if you're below level 50, and you cannot enter World Tier 4 if you're below level 70. Which is a massive deal. Here's another post here on the forums. Level 50 required on World Tier 3 and 70 for World Tier 4. This is not on the patch note. Now, they did mention on Twitter that they're going to be doing a campfire chat to kind of review some of the feedback and address some of the things that they made in these patch notes. But I'm really hoping that this is just a bug, because if it's not a bug, this is absolutely miserable and terrible for any sort of a leveling process, because A, the XP has already been reduced, the stats that you have have been reduced, the damage that you have has been reduced, all of it's been reduced, okay? Now, we also can't get the increased XP or increased gear as early as level 40 for World Tier 3, which means it's going to slow extremely down from level 40 to 50. And if you were able to enter World Tier 3 even sooner than that, which some people have, then it's going to slow your leveling process even more so. And then for World Tier 4, you could equip Ancestral Pieces at level 60, and I was able to enter World Tier 4 as early as like level 53 solo, especially on the Necromancer. Granted, once again, there may not be an option to do that because, well, you've reduced your stats so much that it's going to be pretty difficult. But let's say you were able to enter at level 60, which is pretty reasonable still. Well then, guess what? You no longer can. You can't equip your Ancestral Gear. You can't get that increased XP. And now your 60 to 70 process is way slower. This is just bad. It's just bad. I think the kind of intention here was to remove boosting and that type of thing. But there's a very easy way to do that. Let's just, get rid of the option to kind of get that exponential XP when you're certain level difference. Or let's say if you're not, I don't know, like level 60 plus, you can't enter World Tier 4 Nightmare Dungeons or something like that, so you can remove that. There's options that you have for removing the boosting element and making it so that you can't enter the dungeons and complete your World Tier 3 and 4 earlier than that is pretty miserable. And partially people mentioned that, hey, yeah, it really tends to happen, especially when you're grouping up with other players and you're pushing for World Tier 3 or World Tier 4 sooner, but you're all like relatively the same level as we saw with the preseason pushes. Well, guess what? Even then, when you're trying to work off each other and you're trying to revive each other and kind of use your soft coreness and your revives to kind of get your way through World Tier 3 and World Tier 4, which is a viable strategy for group play, well, you can no longer do that as well. It just seems that like everything that I'm finding out, again, this could be a bug, and if it is, you know, perhaps I'll just readdress this and remove this video. But it seems that like everything that I'm seeing just lends itself to reducing every single player's progression. The pace was too quick for them, and there wasn't enough content, and so they've reduced the pace so drastically, and that's become the new content where it's just like, oh, you're doing the same thing, but it's way slower, harder to do, and more annoying, and there's no quality of life changes. I don't know. I'm going to be talking about all the things that you're going to need to know, things like the hearts, things like updated season 1 builds for the rogue, because they have changed drastically, because siphoning strikes is now a meme, and I'll be talking about that in a video later today. Be sure to sub if you want to check that out, and I'll see you all for the next one.